What makes a good photo? What makes a great photo? I don't know. It beats me. But this has been a question that I've been asking for the last couple of years as I've been getting more and more into photography. Part of that has come out of this maybe desire, maybe ongoing societal pressure to always look at our photos through the lens of, is this shareable? Is this something that I'll be able to throw onto an app or put on social media? I have been really trying to understand what makes a great photo, what makes something incredible that I could feel incredible about. All of this stemmed out of an image that I took earlier this year as I was walking around Vienna. I was using a brand new lens. In fact, it's this lens. This is what I was shooting on. This is the Sony A7CR, and this is a 35mm 1.4 Voigtlander lens. It is a fully manual lens, and that will matter in just a second. Usually when I'm out doing street photography, I try to have some kind of a lens that has autofocus, because you know, whenever you see a scene or something to capture, you don't often want to be sitting there kind of fiddling around with all your stuff. You want to be ready to go, cameras on, lenses in focus, and so on. And so autofocus is usually a great use for this. But I was using this lens. It was my first day using it, just got it, and I was walking through the Hofburg in Vienna, and I noticed the scene kind of unfolding in front of me. It was this man walking with his dog and a couple walking with their dogs, and they were kind of crossing. I kind of I saw it, and I turned around and I kind of hustled back to it because I loved kind of the scene that was unfolding. I was like, take a couple more photos. I'd already taken several hundred photos that day, just walking around, taking loads. And I saw this scene, and I took a bunch of photos of it with this new manual lens. And as I was looking through the photos later on that day, I looked at, there was one photo that stood out beyond everything else that I had taken, and it was this photo. There was something about this image that I felt so incredibly proud, and I was full of this joy and this elation because there's something about the composition, and the lighting was, marginally okay, but there was something about the story that was unfolding in this image. There's this guy standing over to the side, and there's this tension being kind of created with the leash between him and his dog, and one of the dogs is kind of jumping up, and there's this couple that's kind of smiling at the interaction of the dogs, and then there's this guy in the background standing there kind of laughing and chuckling at the situation. And I was I loved this picture so much. I brought it into my computer to edit it, and something about it just seemed a little weird. Something seemed off, and so I zoomed in a little bit, and I zoomed in a little bit more, and I realized that the focus of this new lens that I had, even though the aperture was stopped down so there should be more of a field of focus, it was just slightly off from everything that was happening in the photo. If you look really, really closely, especially on the dogs, the edge of the focus bandwidth, you could say, is just beyond them. And the guy on the right is ever so slightly out of focus, and the man's face is in focus, but the guy in the background isn't. So there was I started just kind of tearing this thing apart from a technical point of view. And I could feel the joy that I had felt when I first saw this image just sort of slowly melt away. And then as I was feeling that melting, I thought, hold on a second. I just recently, and when I say just recently, I mean 10 seconds ago, felt this deep resonance in my body about this image. And suddenly I had filtered it through, well, it's not technically perfect. It's not technically, there's things I could peel apart and pick apart and all of this. And yet I still loved the photo. And as I was thinking through this, there's been this theme in my life for many, many years. And I don't remember who said it to me, but this concept of resonance, this idea that something can strike kind of the heartstrings of your emotions, of your life, of your memory, and resonate with you in a way that makes you feel something. That's why, two people standing next to each other looking at a piece of art maybe don't feel exactly the same thing. And that's art. That's art. As photographers, I think we get so stuck in the minutia of what is the technically perfect, what is the components that make up an image, rather than what is the feeling that it brings me when I look at it. As a demonstration, this is my Martin D35. This was my dad's. He passed away last year, and this is his old guitar. And I love this guitar. It's wonderful. It's amazingly in tune at the moment. But I want to give you an example of this concept of resonance. If you don't know what resonance is when the sound of one thing creates reverberations and vibrations in another object of that same tone or that same sound, or it has various overtones. And it's all just physics. Sound is physics, yeah. Acoustic guitars, one of their basic premises is that the strings resonate with what's going on in the body to give it that full, unique sound. But a very simple way to understand resonance is if I pluck this low E string here, lovely, you can't hear it, but what I can hear is I can hear and I can feel the vibrations happening in the body, in the wood. It's just physics. But if I let go of these other strings and I play this E and then stop the E, listen to what happens. Oh. You hear that? I'm gonna bring it closer. So I'm playing this E, and the vibrations from that string are resonating through some, not all, of these other strings that are tuned to certain tunings of and certain notes that sound wave is vibrating with. And there's different levels of resonance. I think all of these strings probably will move if I let them go. But that's an important piece to understand about music. Not music, art. It's an important thing to understand about art, is that certain notes, certain art pieces will resonate with us because of our experiences, of our feelings, of our emotions, of our pasts, our ideas, our values. All of these things make up how we, as a viewer of art and a consumer of art, if you want to say it that way, how we interact with things like photography or art or music. So I don't know what makes a great photo, except for I know it makes a great photo for me. And if you're a photographer, if you're someone who is struggling with this kind of back and forth of like, how do I figure out the photos that I need to take and that I share and that I put forward and that I don't? Well, what would happen if there was no social media? What would happen if you didn't actually care about the things that you needed to share and instead just focused on what you liked about the pictures? Maybe there's some that you don't like. They don't tell any story and they don't make you feel anything, but maybe they do. And maybe we can set aside the technical side of those things and still find ourselves enjoying that initial feeling that we got when we saw the photo for the first time. That's why... Oh, it's not hanging, but it's up here. And that's why I decided to frame it. And you know what? I'm not great at prints. I think that the exposure is a little bit low, like the overall brightness of this image is pretty low. But I love this. I like this so much. The composition of it, the feeling of it, the look that the guy's giving me, I don't know. I just really like this picture. And I think that it's also a testament to myself that all of my pictures don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be the best thing that has ever been made in the history of anything ever. And it's okay for me to have a little bit of imperfection in my life. And it's okay for me to have a little bit of imperfection in work like this. Maybe if you're doing stuff for commercial and you're getting paid a lot of money, then you want to lean closer to that perfect side of things. But I mean, we've been throwing filters, analog filters on digital photos since digital cameras were around. So it feels like there's something about the imperfections that resonates with us as human beings. Maybe, just maybe. And that's all I have to say today. I've been recording for a really long time. So that's it. What do you think makes a good photo? What do you mean? What makes a great photo or a perfect photo? Have you ever taken any in your life where you're like, yeah, that wasn't perfect, but I love everything about it? I'd love to hear from you. You can do the thing down below. And that's gonna be it. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next time. I'm gonna try and put this back. It's not on the wall yet, so I'm just gonna put it on top of the shelf.